This is a 1956 Case. I'm not exactly sure of what model it is yet. It has the original handle, I think. I mean, it looks like this has been messed with. A brass flush valve with a flapper on it. So, I'm holding this until it starts overflowing into it, and then we'll see how it does. There's a lot of crap in the tank. It's almost at the top. It looks like a very small trapway. It doesn't look very big. Okay, here we go. Doesn't seem like there's anything stuck in it. It also has one single bolt holding the tank on, which I've never seen before. I have not cleaned this yet, but I did remove the seat as one of the nuts were missing. This actually came with one of the original porcelain caps. Since this is a 50s toilet, that's probably what was mostly used, as the flush valve was brass. I think this is the original handle, and obviously the fill valve would have been brass, but that's a newer fill valve. This was in a house that was being remodeled, so it was obviously left in and then removed at a later time. But it doesn't look like they even used the front bolt holes. It's a very weird design. But it's full again, so before I clean out the tank or do anything else, we'll just flush it again at the water level that it was set at, which is about there. That was a very weak siphon, but it actually siphons out relatively quickly. So I always start with rinsing the tank out and rinsing it all into the bowl. Or I'll clean the bowl, then rinse it into the tank. From the tank into the bowl. This is picking back off later on, since the two clips I filmed before this were filmed during the summertime, and it's now fall. See, it's full of water, and I think, yeah, I have it about to its water line. And I didn't add any water to the bowl, and you can see there's water in there. So that flapper leaks slowly. What I'm going to do is let it start overflowing into the overflow tube and open the flapper. I'm gonna refill the bowl up. And I'm gonna try some basic tests with this, like some golf balls, some of those wood pieces possibly, and 2 thin rags. Perfectly fine. Now I'm gonna try the gray one. This either has a tight spot in the trap or maybe something in it, because it passed that rag, but you can see it hung up for a second there. Now I know that up to this point it's good, but maybe in these bends is where it's hanging up. So now I'm gonna do the golf balls. Doesn't seem to have had enough power to push them all through, but I'll give it a second chance at it. Not entirely sure why the flapper closed early there, since I have the overflow tube turned off with that valve, so it doesn't do that, but for some reason it closed early. Maybe I'll try leaving that on this time. Now I'm going to try with some of those wood pieces and see if we can get them through. I don't have high confidence for this, but there's 6 of them in there, and there's 6 of the smaller ones, since the other 4 are larger, but let's see. Well, there's 3 there out of 6, so I'm gonna let it fill up and go again and see if the rest of them come out. I think one of them's actually in the pipe, but I'll let it have another shot. The rest of them came right out. Now I'm going to try a dry grass test, see how it does on the bowl rinsing clearance. There's about a good handful and a half's worth, since a lot of it is already crushed up pretty small. I'm pretty sure it'll get most of this. Or basically all of it. This thing has almost perfect bowl rinse. Now I have not acid treated this yet, so you can see a nice yellow water line where the water was sitting, since I think this was used for its entire life on city water. Got about a half tank. I'll see if it clears the rest of this out. And it did. I have tried a clogged siphon jet test on this. Even though it was a while ago, as far as I remember, it just swirls around. Doesn't really have enough water to actually siphon out. But since the rim jets are pretty strong, it swirls pretty good. Look at that if I showed the date, 1556. There's the Case logo. Funny enough, the tank has a bow. Kind of hard to show, but right there is its low point, and you can see it on the inside. Turn this oil valve off. You can kind of see it. Close off. I'm going to see if I can find the tank lid for this. I have them all put away, but let me see if I can find it. There it is with the lid on it. I've noticed that these have really fragile porcelain. See 2 chips there. Under here, there's that and that. Tank is pretty big on this. A little bit disproportional, but let me remove the lid gently. Place it here. It's going to be upside down. See 586 or 5856 printed there. Case Robinson, made in the USA. And then there's March 30th, 1956. Let's press the lid gently back on it. Very scary to do one-handed. And I think the original handle. Yes, that handle gets stuck sometimes. Let's see if I can get it to, of course, it doesn't do it when I want it to, but it gets held open. And the first few times I tested this, it caught me off guard. And this did come with a blue matching seat, which I'll throw on it real quick. I did not clean the seat when I got this. I simply removed it since one of the nuts was missing, but the stud was there. You can see it's, in person, it's a closer match than it looks like on video. That's about as good as you'll be able to get for a new seat, since this is a relatively new one. It is nice to see a color matched seat. I will just remove it again. This has been filling the whole time. And it's basically full. Yeah, scary. So I'll give it one last flush, holding the handle open the whole time. Still didn't get stuck, but that's about it for this 1956 Case Camel in a beautiful blue.